name is Jason. I'm here for Daily Dose of Hope, and this is day 325. So nice to meet you and nice to see you again. What is a Daily Dose of Hope? It's just that the energies on our planet are becoming increasingly, or the energies on our planet are increasing, and as they do, things get more and more wacky and more intense. And so I'm here just to help, if you need any help, to guide you into that middle path in between the yin and the yang. They have the two sides going on at the same time, and there's that middle path in between. Sorry I haven't been able to come on for the past few days. As you can tell from my eye, like my immune system is really kind of down. I had a 14-hour flight, and I got back 2 days ago from Japan, from America. But usually, like with the jet lag, I can handle it. But I think with age, it's not as easy. And so I've been just really under the weather the past few days. I've just not been able to do anything, just kind of sleeping and yeah. And whenever I get some energy, I get a rush of energy and I do some stuff, and then it's like, oh, I have to go back to bed. So, yeah. But I went to the acupuncturist today, and they were saying, it's wow, we've never experienced your body this tired before. This is, and so they used all these new points. Like they used this point right here, which is my new, that's what I'm going to start using this for moxibustion. Yeah, so my body was just intensely tired. My goodness. No fun. But yeah, so I'm on the mend, right, as they say. Hey, Michael, wow, nice, good timing. You said, welcome back to Japan, right? Yeah. So yeah, it's I'm still kind of, when you come from a different timeline, yeah, it is like a different timeline. It's like a completely different world, in America and here in Japan, and yeah, it's a lot to kind of process. So yeah, so what I wanted to talk about today is something that happened when I was in America, which was kind of interesting to me. One of the things is Stockholm syndrome, and this is about 3 years of craziness. Like we had those 3 years of craziness a few years ago, and that was where everything was closed down and all kinds of stuff happened. And there's like a new medicine that everyone had to take, and you had to put some stuff on your face and all kinds of crazy stuff that people would have never done a few years earlier. And if you had told them a few years earlier that you're going to do this, they'd say, no way, I'm free, I'm independent. But then when it happened, everyone's like, oh, hey, yes, I'll do it. And they were 3 years of intense craziness. And but that time is pretty much, that crazy time is over. We're in a different crazy time now. But what I see, a lot of the stuff that seems to be happening, it seems to me, if I would take a look at it, it just seems pretty positive. I mean, if you look at it from an unbiased viewpoint, things seem to be moving in a more logical way. But my perception of it was always, since I was all the way here in Japan, I could see it far away. And so there wasn't an emotional charge to it for me. It's just, okay, it's interesting. But when I went to the States, I kind of experienced some of the emotional charge around it. And experiencing the emotional charge, it was kind of too immediate, too much. Just too much energy. It's like, whoa, I can't handle this much energy. Being an introvert, it's not my thing. It's too much. I need to go inside now. I need to go in my shell. And in addition to that, there's also a generational thing which is going on as well, which is interesting. I think there's a lot involved in all of this stuff that's going on, the shaking up that's going on. So one part's the Stockholm syndrome. We're kind of used to things looking really dreary, and then some other people were looking at those times that I thought were dreary and thinking of them as they were wonderful times, and so it's confusing in that way. But then there's also the generational divide too. We have been taught from our society, and I don't think this is a natural thing as humans. We're not taught, this isn't what we do normally, but we are taught, so that we don't respect our elders, that our parents, for example, what they think is just old-fashioned and it's crazy and it's dumb, and we know what's right. We know everything. We know it all, right? And I was like this when I was 18, 19, and I still am in a certain extent when I deal with my parents. It's just like, because that's just what we were taught. We were taught since we were children. Not maybe in schools as well, but for example, the hippie movements and the 30-year movements, how every 30 years they tend to repeat. And so the whole idea is that you pit the parents against the children, and it's an easy way to split apart the society and weaken the family structure. And this is also happening in politics as well. And I found it really interesting that I was also, since I was kind of on the same wavelength as my parents about everything that's happening, but because it was my parents, I thought something must be wrong with this, and I thought, wow, this is interesting. It's something to look into. And I think this is something that we could all look into, is how much of how you are reacting to something is a generational thing. Are you reacting that way because you kind of view this as kind of old-fashioned, or and why do you view it as old-fashioned? What is it about it that is old-fashioned? And then boiling everything down to very, very simple terms, not using all of the isms and the things like that, but just boiling it down to really, really simple terms. And when you do that, it can be very, very interesting, the things that come up. And I mean, I know this too because I'm dealing with another generation that is reacting against me. And so no matter what I say, even if I can sense that we're on the same wavelength, it's like, no, I know it all and you don't know nothing, you old fogey. Is so, and so I'm able to see it. I'm like in between both, and I think, oh, this is what this is, and I know what's going on, everyone, but I can't. You can't. When we're all playing our roles, we can't really kind of jump out and say, "Hey, everyone, look, this is what's happening." But here I can say it, I guess, because no, yeah, because I'm just talking to myself, I guess. Um, but yeah, so I think that's something that's being played out, and I think that's something to really look into. Um, are you just reacting because it's a generational thing? Are you reacting because it's just this person believes this, and I don't like this person, so this must be wrong? That kind of what's the word? I can't remember. It's not projection. I guess projection would be one way of saying it, but there is another word for it. I can't remember it. But yeah, where you this person that you don't agree with believes in this, so if they believe in it, it must be wrong, kind of thing. Where instead of just boiling it down to really simple things like, what is the actual idea that's going on, without all of the emotion involved and all of that kind of stuff. And so when I went to the States, I felt it was, wow, it's so like heated, but here in Japan, at least on these issues, because it's not directly affecting Japanese people, it is, but it's kind of far away. It's not so heated. And also in Japan, people are not prone to being, really like, yeah, it's, you internalize stuff. And if you do, it's the way that you express it is more muted. Like there might be like a gesture that you do in your eyes that in America no one would pick up on, but in Japan everyone's like, oh, that guy's really serious, kind of thing. So it's a difference. Yeah. Michael, you say, I've been feeling that too. Oh, right, great. Yeah. It's interesting to take a step back, always take a step back and see what's really going on. And and who knows, maybe all of this stuff, maybe the stuff that I believe, or that you believe, or that they believe, or that whatever believes could be wrong. That's good. That's good to be able to have that composure, to be in that much in the middle point where you are not swayed either way. You think maybe this is going on, and that's a good thing, but if it all turns out to be the complete opposite, you're still okay, because it's like, I am me. I am not this information. I am not this person. I am not that person. I am not this belief system. I am me, and I've got my own path. And I think that's a really important thing that we're being taught now, this discernment, that we can't be swayed by any of that stuff. We believe, and then if we start to boil it down to all the just the simplest things, that we want love, we want peace, we want happiness, we want to survive, we want to thrive, and all people around the world want to. And what is the best way? What is the best way to, for example, and to really think about it in those terms, rather than to get caught up in all of the stuff. And also to think about, we've got our own path, and all of these things are happening, but 10 years from now, no one's going to remember any of it. They're going to remember it maybe a little bit, but there's going to be so many other things happening that it doesn't matter. And I even found this, like, from 4 years ago, I'll look back at things that I thought were like, oh my God, what's going on? And talk about it now. There's no energy behind it. There's no fuse behind it. It doesn't matter, right? So that's another thing to look at. the things that we think are so important right now. This is, if you look back 10 years from now, you're like, why was I so worried about that? What was I thinking? So important so I guess the point today is the ability to take a step back from everything. All the emotions are plugged into things now, and we tend to get into the emotions. But if you boil it down to what's actually happening, think about it, then, you're just living your life, going through a normal day. It's rainy here in Japan today, or it was sunny yesterday, and whatever. Um, so anyway, that was one thing I wanted to talk about, and because I really felt it. um, and the other thing is healing, light working, and this is the idea that I thought was light working is not a war. Um, so when you're light working, so if you do light working as a war, then you're jumping into the yin and yang, and you are fighting against yourself. Basically, you can't win when you fight against yourself. So that's the whole. So light working is, for example, so if there's a very, very angry person or very sick person, how would you approach them? So a very angry person, are you going to fight them? Are is that going to work? Or is that, or do you kind of, if they're really, really angry, do you want to find a way to diffuse the anger? And which approach would you do? So if they're very angry and then you fuel the fire by making them more angry, you're just creating more anger, and then you're going to be part of the anger, and it's just this cycle. But if you just allow that anger to be there, give them the space, give them that ability to let it out. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe there's a story behind the anger that they feel. Maybe it's not just what you think it is on the surface, but there's something else behind it, and they just need to get that story out. And same with someone very, very sick. Like, I will heal you now. No, you have to understand and approach them where they are. Even if, for example, you know a lot of healing modalities, if someone is not geared towards that modality, they're not going to accept it. And if you're not really called on to heal, then it's not going to work anyway. So the whole idea is that the light working is about giving space, just letting people be who they need to be at this moment, but holding the light for them, holding the space for them, holding the understanding that they are love as well, even though maybe they don't seem like they're in love at this moment, but they are, and understanding that for them, holding that space for them, and letting them, maybe just they need to just tell the story that's behind all those emotions. So anyway, I wanted to talk about that. I'm not sure why. This is from a few days ago. I see I've been kind of sick for a while and not being able to come online. And also my eye, my goodness, it looks a lot better, but before it's just like I look like wow, a monster. And Michael, you say, yeah, my sense is that none of this really matters, yet I still get annoyed. Yeah. I mean, I understand. I mean, I can see, I'm 3 generations, I'm seeing it all, like, this isn't. But I think the key is, just look at the generational thing as well. Look at how much are you reacting to it because these are authority figures. And I know for myself, I have and I think this was trained into me somehow too. Just like I really had problems with authority figures. I've always been kind of rebellious, and if someone tells me do this one thing, I'll do the complete opposite. And I mean, even to silly things like on the train in Japan, they say like, "Please don't touch the doors," And so every time they say that, I just touch the doors. It's just like silly rules kind of always bother me. So, but I understand that that's my thing, and I have to really be aware of it, so that I'm not, yeah. And before I go into channeling today, I just want to share. So a few days ago, I've been waking up at like 4 a.m, and I woke up and I just turned on the Japanese news. There's this story, and I think it's, well, I don't know if I should laugh or not, but it was funny for me. So I woke up at 4 a.m. all bleary-eyed, and I turned on the news, and the big headline was that there was this woman in Toyama, and Toyama Prefecture, and she was an unemployed, middle-aged 56-year-old woman who was caught smushing the bread in a supermarket, and she was arrested and taken to the police. And this is an ongoing story. We'll find out the rest of the information. Oh, that would make such a fun story. But it was real. I mean, that was really on the news. It's just like, yeah, things are going nuts here in Japan. We got bread smushers, and man, I don't know what to do about it. So anyway, I'm going to go into a channeling, and let's see. And oh, before I go, one other thing. So there's a whole bunch of different things. Is this name thing. When I channel, I say the names of who I'm channeling. And when I first started doing this work, I didn't want to do that because it's just like you just get in so much trouble for it because everyone's, well, that's not the being that I know, and all kinds of different things, or that being never existed, or whatever it is, right? And it's just too much stuff, right? But my guides were like, no, we would like you to say the names because the names themselves have codes that would help the people who need to hear the messages get the messages. And that's what they had told me. And so, yeah. And so, for example, so I was channeling Yeshua, and there was the phrase, that one that you know of as Yeshua, right? And he was saying that there's a reason for that because Yeshua is what he was saying is an archetype. He's an amalgamation of many different beings, and through all of the belief systems of all of these thousands of years, right, 2,000 years or so or longer, have created this being. And what the being is, though, it's not necessarily a being or one being. It is a focus of source energy that allows us to approach source energy through a certain focus, through a certain energy. Now, we can access source energy ourselves, but then this is just a different focus on it, which provides the information in a certain frame of reference. And I thought that was really interesting for me, and that kind of explains it a lot. Like that when we're channeling, we are channeling archetypes in that sense, and that I mean, you could, and depends on your viewpoint of all these different things. It could just be, you could think of it as a being or an archetype, and it's up to you however you want to view it. But for me, I always think that for me, the information that I get is very helpful for me, and so that for me is the most important thing. But anyway, I wanted to share that, and yeah, and then hold on, let's see. All right, so I'm going to go into a channeling now, and I'm going to ask them what they have to say for today, March 11th, 2025. So we are about 14 years ago was the big tsunami that happened here in Japan. And I remember, I live in the middle of Japan, and where I live was not affected at all by it. But I remember I was in a Chinese restaurant with my old guitar teacher and another friend, and we were talking about a concert. We were going to do a concert, and we were just eating Chinese food and talking about it. And I remember, like, in the background, there was just like this silent roar. Well, it wasn't silent, but just this kind of quiet roar in the background of the waves kind of crashing. And it was a really surreal kind of thing because we were just having a normal conversation. And I remember the next day, people, many people from all over that I know that were not in Japan were kind of emailing me and, are you okay? Are you okay? And it felt so strange because like nothing happened in my town. Like it was just a blue sky, everything was normal. And so it felt really strange. But anyway, that was 14 years ago. So Michael, you say your guides were right. I found you because I was searching for the mantis beings in Yeshua. Oh, okay. Wow, interesting. Great. All right. Well, there you go. So yeah. So I'm just going to go into a channeling today, and yeah. What do they have to say for today? Here we go. Greetings. We are that one that you know as Mary Magdalene. And we are here, and we are here, and we are here, and we are here with you, and we are here supporting you. We are here giving you the help that you need, if you need it. All you need to do is ask. You do not need this being that is standing in front of you now. You do not need anyone. All you need is yourself. You have a direct connection with all the energy that is available throughout the universe. And you have a direct connection with us as well. And so if you need our energy, all you need to do is call on it. If you are suffering, if you find yourself lost, all you need to do is call, and we will be there. We will be there for you, because that is what we are doing. We are in service to you, as humanity, because we were serviced as well. We were given that energy as well while we were here, and we understand how important this is. And by doing this for you, it allows us to learn so much through you and about you. And it also allows us to be a part of this time on your planet, this beautiful transition time that you are all in. So understand that all you need to do is to call on us, and we will be there for you. Okay, short message today. Let's do today. So we're doing March 11th. I can't even tell if I'm so burnt out from all the jet lag. I don't even know what energy is mine. What energy is from the the yeah the tsunami energy. But I'm just going to let's do a pocket of peace for all the people that are suffering from natural and unnatural disasters throughout the world. All of the people who are finding themselves in difficult situations. Yeah. And yeah. Okay, let's do it. Okay. Here we go. I want you to imagine that you are in a place that makes you feel the most relaxed, somewhere that you just feel like you're at home at. Just imagine you're there. And then take a few breaths there. Breathe in the energy and the air of there. And then just imagine that in this there that you're in, imagine that this light of unconditional love comes in and surrounds you. It's like a gentle, energetic hug, and it just feels so good, and you just feel so right. It feels so good. And now I'd just like you to imagine that this energy lights up your heart and your body and your mind and all of the places in your body that are not quite right at the moment. Maybe you're feeling a bit sick in the stomach, or maybe you have a headache, or maybe your legs hurt, or maybe something on your body is not working correctly. And this light is just going there and gently, gently, gently sending the light to it and empowering your body and empowering yourself so that you're feeling a little bit better. In fact, you're feeling quite a lot better. Wow, I feel so much better now because this light is within me, this light of unconditional love. It is so powerful. Oh. And now you can feel it just lighting up your whole body. Oh, and lighting up your heart, and your heart is so warm now, and it's generating this heat that just wants to expand, and it does, and it does, and it does, and it expands out into your room, so the whole, or the space that you're in, and so the whole space that you're in is just surrounded by love. It's surrounded by this light, this glowing, incandescent light. It's just so beautiful. And now everything in this space is glowing. All the desks, all the tables, all the chairs, all the pencils, the pens, the sand, whatever it is, it's all aglow. And now you can experience this going out and further out. It's going out throughout all the highways and the byways and the city waves and the water waves, the ocean waves, and all of the frequency waves that we use our electronics for our smartphones and our computers and the Wi-Fi and all of the G's. And it's just going out, and this love, it's unconditional love, and it just goes out and it shifts all of the energies into the energy of love, the frequency of love. You see, all of these things, all of these waves can be used. They are just tools that can be used for good or bad or for neutral. And we're shifting them all into love, which is neutral. Love is truly neutral. Love sees and loves everything. And so all of these energy waves are out just broadcasting love now. Everywhere you go is love, 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 love. All around the whole planet, it's love now. Traveling at the speed of love, which is the only speed available, the fastest speed available, because it is the only truth. And so it is now everywhere throughout the mass consciousness. People are downloading it and they're feeling it. They're saying, yes, yes, yes. I don't know what that was. I was in this dark place and I couldn't move. I didn't know where I was and I had lost my hope. But I've got my hope back. I've got it all back now because I'm feeling this love, and it just feels wonderful. beautiful. And I look at all the people around me and I can see they're feeling it too. They look like they just woke up from a deep, deep sleep, and their eyes have this depth to them, that they've seen the love, they've seen the unconditional love, and it's beautiful, and we're all just experiencing. And we're realizing that all we have to do is follow our heart, and our heart will guide us in the way. We don't need to listen to all those other voices, all those voices in our heads, all those voices from people who are at times well-meaning, but they don't know what's in our heart. And we just have to listen to our heart, and it's telling us just to go forward. And then we have those voices, the ego voices in our mind saying, hey, no, you're not good enough, or you can't do this. And we say, ego, just give it a break, because we are made of love, and we don't need to listen to this story anymore. We understand where you're coming from, but we are made of love, and your reasoning is not coming from love, but we come from love, unconditional love. And we love you, ego. You're wonderful, but you know what? We don't need to listen anymore, because we're just listening to our heart now. We understand that you have a role to play, ego, but not in this mission that we're on, finding peace and bringing the hope and bringing the love down to this planet. And you can see all stories of sadness, all stories of fear, all stories of anger, all sickness, all pain is gone, replaced with love, unconditional love. And this is where we are. We're bringing this love to this planet. All right. Pocket of Peace for day 325. So I hope you guys are hopeful. Thanks, Michael, for joining in. It's good timing. And yeah, so hopefully I will see you all tomorrow. And yeah, ciao for now. And I haven't been able to say this before. Go beach. All right, so ciao.